one question I have for you is you've talked about how the start of one of the days where you actually tried to commit suicide was when you were driving to I think it was Armadale, but the reason you were driving to Armadale, I think, was because you were seeing a counsellor. Is that correct?
Yeah, a new counsellor. That's correct.
And so one of the things I think that I've noticed with your story is that you actually had quite a problem with these counsellors and accepting them. It was almost like through the process of dealing drugs, you had developed this lack of trust for people through the experiences of, as you said, like people ripping you off and that kind of thing. But do you feel like being around people in that, with regards to dealing and taking those drugs, you became more trusting of certain people within your circles, and the people that loved you and that cared for you would, oftentimes have those stronger conversations, about changing your life and making changes. And because you were so ingrained in this new drug addiction, you couldn't have those conversations, or you couldn't see almost what was happening before your eyes. And that was kind of what led you to being around more of these unsavory characters as well.
The truth be was I didn't want to know. My brother, who is a justice of the peace, has never done a thing wrong by anybody, would try and help me and steer me the right direction. I did not want to know. I did not want to be helped, or I didn't really want to be helped. And I didn't think that anybody could help me, to be honest with you. I had seen numerous counsellors. I had sought many different medical opinions, and nothing really helped me.
And so what happened there? You were driving to Armadale, and you're driving your truck there, and
no, I was driving my car.
Your car.
My license was disqualified.
Right.
My car was unregistered, and I was flat broke. And the car that I was driving was on empty, on the fuel gauge.
Yeah.
And I was that desperate to see if somebody could actually make a change. If there was a magic fix for me, that I took the run anyway from from Melbourne's west out to Armadale, get to Armadale, sat in the chair for an hour, waiting for this counsellor, and then get in there to see them. And the counsellor was more worried about where the doctor had signed that he wasn't going to get paid for the session, right? So for 45 minutes of the session, he spent on the phone trying to work out if he was going to get paid for the session or not. And the other 15 minutes, he got me to fill in all these multiple choice questions. And so I just felt like that was a complete waste of time, right? I was absolutely shattered. I remember sitting in my car out the front for about an hour. And when I decided to make the trip home, knowing very well that I never had enough petrol to get home, knowing very well that I was driving an unregistered car and I had no license, that I would probably get pulled over, I decided to make my way home. And as I was driving over the Westgate Bridge, the car started to run out of petrol. And I was driving, from side to side to try and get every little bit of petrol out of that tank. And I made it all the way out to Laverton, and the car broke down. I was on the side of the road. It was about 8 p.m. And I had no credit on my phone, and I couldn't have rang a soul anyway, because I don't think there was anyone who could have came and helped me. So after sitting behind the wheel for about an hour, shitting myself that the coppers are going to come or somebody was going to come, I said, I can't do this no more. And I got out of the car walked around to the front, and waited for a truck to come down the freeway.
And so the truck hit you. You flew about
Yeah,
10, 15 meters onto the road, and then the back of the truck came swinging around, didn't it? And you,
yeah, that's right. I saw a truck. I saw the orange lights coming, and I waited for him to get close enough, and I stood out in front of that truck, went flying in the air, landed on the road, and then I watched the trailer jackknife and go sliding over 3 lanes, and then I was on the road thinking, oh, he's going to run me over, right? So you know, I scatter up and start running, and I ran away. It was a big Mercedes Benz. I never forget that because the emblem. I think I still got an imprint on my shoulder where it hit me. But yeah, but I remember thinking, oh, I don't want to get squashed. Right? I thought maybe just the impact would kill me, and I got up and I ran away. And you know, black and blue for days and days after that. But how I survived that, I will never know.
So were you high at that point in time?
Yeah, definitely.
And with your pain, how was it after that accident? Because I can imagine you'd just be completely shattered after that. Were you in hospital, or did you get any severe injuries from that accident?
No severe injury. I mean, very, very sore, but no severe injuries at all. Just really bad bruising.
Wow.
Which also amazed me.
And then the next thing amazes me even more, Simon. You know, when you put the sawn off shotgun down your throat. So talk us through that suicide attempt. So there was, how many suicide attempts were there over the course?
Five in total.
Yep.
And the shotgun one, to be honest with you, I think of on a daily basis, and I am still amazed, bewildered on how I survived that. I was staying at my brother's holiday house in St. Leonard's on bail. After the stabbing and shooting, I was always looking over my shoulder because I never knew what was going to come from where. So I had bought myself a sawn-off shotgun for my own protection, but you know, feeling very alone and in that world. One day I thought I had had enough, so I was going to check out. I had wrote a suicide letter. I had a box of bullets, which I reached into the box and pulled the shiniest bullet out, whacked it into the gun. I had done this many times, but this time that I actually pulled the trigger. A bullet went off, and the next thing that I know, I was being driven to the Barwon hospital in Geelong, the Barwon psych ward. The bullet that I had put in the gun was one that they use for the cockies, to scare the cockies. So there was actually no ammunition in there, just a plastic wad that went off and blew the back of my mouth out. I had blood coming out of my nose and my ears, and I was taken to the psych ward in Geelong.
That's intense.
Yeah,
So do you have any ongoing, I guess, complications from that? Whether it be no,
you know, no. And to top things off, when I went to this, when I got to the psych ward, I remember these two massive coppers from Port Darlington Police Station took me there in the back of their 4-wheel drive, and you know, I sat there for about 4 hours, and the doctor reviewed me, heard what I had done, all of the above, and they gave me like 3 or 4 Valium and said, "Look, are you planning on harming yourself again?" And I said no, because by then all I wanted to do was go use more drugs, right? I just wanted out of there. And they said, "Well, off you go then." So they gave me 4 Valium and sent me home.
It's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the mental health system,
Stupid.
you know. I remember my brother. He actually, he lived in Werribee at the time. He came and picked me up, and he was just so disappointed and distraught. And he would wait by the phone, just waiting for that phone call to say your brother is dead. Your brother has finished himself off, or he's overdosed, or he used to wait for that phone call. And you know, I'm all he's got left, and he's all I got left. We only got each other. So, even just speaking to you about this today constantly reminds me of what I did to that poor guy.
And I
I
guess
wasn't true.
one thing that we haven't really, I guess, deciphered is the one of your brothers, justice of the peace, the other brother who passed away was also booked on ice before he had his massive heart attack. So at this point in time, Simon, you had two children. One was eight. One was 8. One was 12 years old. Were they able to fathom, and come to terms with what you were actually trying to do to yourself at this point in time? What did they really? Could they come to grips with it? Did they know what was happening? Do you think they were old enough?
I don't think I don't think they actually knew what or the depths to what I was doing. After I had got so I was I had shared custody, and after I had got shot and stabbed, it was not safe for me
Lost
to,
custody.
to be around my kids. Um, and then I became ashamed of myself because I wasn't a father's asshole. There was numerous times where we had arranged to spend a day together, go to the zoo or go to the park, and I was delayed by hours because I was always waiting for somebody to drop money off or drop drugs off or whatever the case may be. I was an unfit father, a non-deserving father, and I was useless to him. You know, and when I wanted to check out, I had convinced myself that my kids were better off without me. And to be honest with you, probably at that point they were. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, was this the last of your suicide attempts, or what?
Yeah.
Were the other? So, what were the other
Yeah.
three? Were they just?
They were prior. I tried gassing myself. I had an old Ford V8, XY Ford V8. I ran a couple of hoses to the exhaust pipe. I tried gassing myself in the car, and the car had run out of fuel. I'd woke up on the floor, slumped in between the car and the garage wall, and the engine light was still on. The car had run out of fuel. That was another one. Another one where I tried to hang myself, and just as I kicked the chair out from underneath me, the owner of the house where I was staying had come in and pulled me off the rope. Um, I was for a long time. I would look for a way to check out because I just did not want to be here no more.